Hello everyone, my name is Siddharth and welcome to another special episode of interviews at Quick Learn in Sports. Today we have Sir Eric Benny. Sir Eric Benny is a former professional footballer and manager of the Indian national football team who has dedicated his career to developing grassroots football in India. Mr. Benny founded Eric Benny Sports Management (EBSM) in 2011, an organization focused on nurturing young football talent and creating opportunities for Indian players to train internationally. Through partnerships with clubs like FC Metz and TFI Germany, Mr. Benny continues to shape the future of Indian football. So let's start our discussion with Sir Eric Benny. Hello, sir. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, Siddharth. Thank you for your time and giving me this opportunity.
नो सर,
Looking
थैंक
forward
यू टू
to
यू।
share.
आई थिंक आप बहुत बिजी रहते हैं, वैसे ही बहुत वो काम आपका हेक्टिक स्केड्यूल है। तो थैंक यू फॉर शेयरिंग योर एक्सपीरियंस हियर। सो प्रॉब्ली विल गो टू द फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन। मैं मोस्टली हर व्यक्ति से पूछता हूँ, वाई फुटबॉल? सो व्हेन इट स्टार्टेड एंड मतलब फुटबॉल ही क्यों?
To be really honest, Siddharth, football के सिवाय कुछ आता भी नहीं था. So I played the game. I enjoyed playing the game. I'm in love with the game. I still get to play when I
सर, वो
get to.
टाइम जो आपने स्टार्ट किया था, उस समय फुटबॉल इंडिया में उतना ज़्यादा था नहीं। दैट्स व्हाई आई एम आस्किंग दिस क्वेश्चन बिकॉज दैट इज द टाइम व्हेन cricket was still at peak and
Correct.
other sports were not there, and you were there I think around 30 years back, right? So उस समय फुटबॉल कैसा उतना क्रेज नहीं था। तो ऐसा क्या क्लिक हुआ आपको स्पोर्ट में कि बोला कि ये फुटबॉल ही खेलना है अपन को?
Yeah, my dad played football,
ओके।
Siddharth. That's where the infection came from. So going back, I used to admire him for how strong he was, how good he was. He was very fast.
अच्छा।
Yeah.
तो
So I
वो
used to really
स्ट्राइकर
admire.
थे?
Winger थे वो.
ओह नाइस।
So yeah, and he played a very high level as well when he was back in his days young.
ओके।
So maybe from him, what maybe I think it's from him only I got this. So I used to train with him. Yeah, we became good friends through the game. So yeah, I think it came into my life because of my dad.
राइट।
So then because I was, there's always this linkage, you're a Christian boy, so you will sing in a choir. तो
राइट।
आपको डांस करना चाहिए, सिंगिंग
राइट।
आनी चाहिए,
राइट।
और you should be able to play football. तो
राइट।
ये कुछ वो क्लीशेज होते हैं सोसाइटी के, स्पेशली
राइट।
हमारी कम्युनिटी को लेके. सो आई filled in all those cliches. It was a part of growing up as a Christian boy in the Christian community.
राइट।
Played a lot of football in my region where
ओके।
where we lived in my early years. I'm originally from Bangalore.
हम्म।
My parents moved to New Delhi for work and a better life, more
राइट।
job opportunities. Delhi was in the 70s, more, you know,
राइट। या।
giving in terms of opportunities to people. So people from all over the part of the country moved over to Delhi.
राइट।
I was a product of the same. My parents moved there. Then I studied from St. Columbus.
राइट।
St. Columbus is a Christian Brothers school, so football was a way of life.
या।
Hockey was a way of life. Cricket was a way of life. So we played all these sports seasonally.
राइट। तो
So
सर, उस समय जो आपने फुटबॉल स्टार्ट किया, लाइक इट केम एज अ मतलब वो आपको डैड से मिला वो, तो उस समय जब आप फुटबॉल खेलते हैं और अभी का जो फुटबॉल देखते हैं, मुझे कुछ इंसाइट बताइए, क्या चेंजेस आपने देखे ओवर द
oh,
इयर्स?
it's way different, Siddharth. It's way different. Earlier, you could be a single-footed player and you could still survive.
हम्म।
You could have your own abilities and
राइट।
you would just pull it off. But today, you need to be both-footed. You need to be very
राइट।
athletic. I
राइट।
don't know many players who would be able to survive today's pressure day and time
राइट।
of technical abilities, but mentally they would surpass because our days mentally we were very tough. We
राइट।
did not have Gatorades and electrolytes and all that stuff. We were basically chai matti wala players. Yeah, I mean chana juice, mausambi ka juice mil jata tha, so that was like luxury
राइट
after
सर।
training. So I remember when I used to play during the summer days. So there were different clubs I played for. One of our refreshment was doodh and ruafza. Can you believe it? Cold doodh and ruafza. And if we would get it, we would wait in queue to get another extra glass. And that was refreshment enough. And then
Wow.
when we graduated to become better players, then the clubs we played for,
Right.
they would give us Mossambi ka juice and a banana, which was like, wow. So it was
Right.
way what players get and what we got back in our days was different. एंड ऐसा भी नहीं था कि हम लोगों को कन्वेंस मिलता था या एयर कंडीशन कार्स मिलती थी आई रिमेम्बर आई टू साइकिल
Hmm.
फ्रॉम माय प्लेस टू अबाउट 14-15 kilometers away just to play or practice.
वार्म
And
अप आपका उसी में हो जाता होगा।
वार्म अप क्या, वो गेम ही एंड हो जाता था जब तक पहुंचते थे। एक तो लोगों से इतनी गालियां सुनने को मिलती थी साइकिल चलाते वक्त, साइड में चलाओ, ये चलाओ, मर जाएगा, ये हो जाएगा, नीचे आने का इरादा, ट्रेनिंग में लेट होंगे तो कोच साहब तारीफ
राइट।
करेंगे,
राइट।
जाते हुए जनता तारीफ करती थी साइड में चलाओ। तो वक्त अलग था, दैट्स व्हाई आई से मेंटली वी वर वेरी स्ट्रांग, वी
हम्म।
नेवर गिव अप, गिविंग अप वाज नॉट एन ऑप्शन फॉर अस। सो इवन
राइट।
इफ वी वर लाइक, आई वाज इन क्लास 10, आई रिमेम्बर
हम्म।
to travel about 30 kilometers by bicycle, man,
वाओ।
back
वाह।
and forth. और सोचो ट्रेनिंग के बाद, and unfortunately circumstances ये थे because after training you also need energy to ride your cycle back.
यस, ऑफ कोर्स।
तो एक मन में वो थोड़ी सी चोरी होती थी कि 80% ही दूंगा ट्रेनिंग में, क्योंकि 20% साइकिल चला के घर भी जाना है ना।
राइट।
सो दो सर्कमस्टांसेस आर वेरी डिफरेंट यार, आई मीन।
मैनेज करना बहुत मुश्किल होता था, मतलब ट्रेन करना आपके ब्रेन को इस तरह से मस्ट हैव बीन वेरी हार्ड।
The legs were super strong and the upper bodies were super lean because
राइट।
बचता ही नहीं था यार कुछ, everything used to
राइट।
get consumed, I mean. So it was a very different time, and then you would go to school in the day.
या।
First half would be school, you come back, and then if training is at 4:30, imagine if you got to ride a bicycle for 15 kilometers, then you
या।
start your day at 3 o'clock, and that also in the sun or rain or cold weather. 1.5 hours before you get there, and then you warm up with the others, and then by the time you come back, so it's a whole 6 hour if engagement यार, मतलब हालत टाइट हो जाती थी
आई एम नॉट
कभी।
श्योर कि आज के बच्चे ऐसा करते, मतलब मैं तो बहुत सारे फुटबॉलर्स और बच्चों को मिलता हूँ, देखता हूँ। तो आई आई थिंक मैं भी वही सोच रहा था कि लाइक हाउ यू यूज टू मैनेज स्टडीज आफ्टर पुटिंग सो मच ऑफ एफर्ट, वर्किंग सो हार्ड। आप वो टाइम कैसे मैनेज करते थे पढ़ने का?
वो एक ही ऑप्शन था सिद्धार्थ, अगर खेलना है तो पढ़ना है।
हम्म। हम्म।
तो वो बड़ा सिंपल था, और हमारे टाइम पे तो हाथ माँ बाप का बड़ा फ्रीली उठ जाता था। तो वो था कि भाई नहीं पढ़ेंगे तो ये खेलने नहीं देंगे।
राइट।
तो वो डर था और एक वो इज्जत भी थी, क्योंकि पता था माँ बाप बहुत मेहनत कर रहे हैं हम लोगों के लिए।
राइट।
इतना
राइट।
आसान सब कुछ था नहीं उस जमाने में ना।
दैट्स ट्रू।
ना रेंटल इनकम्स होती थी उस जमाने में हमारी,
राइट।
मिडिल क्लास फैमिली। इट वाज,
एग्जैक्टली।
if dad would work per day basis or mom would do her stuff,
या।
तब जाके घर चलता था, and we realized that very early. वो privileges नहीं थे कि फॉल बैक प्लान था, नहीं होगा तो
राइट।
पापा काम पे बैठ जाऊंगा, नहीं होगा, नहीं होगा तो फिर बेटा कुछ नहीं कर पाओगे लाइफ में, ये ऑप्शन था बस।
राइट। एंड
उसके
उस समय
आगे
सर स्पोर्ट्स में कुछ ऐसा करियर भी नहीं था, मतलब अब जाके थोड़ा बहुत मुझे दिखता है।
करियर था, करियर था सिद्धार्थ, पर वो करियर
अच्छा।
पता क्या था? इनकम टैक्स में नौकरी लग जाना, कस्टम्स में नौकरी
गवर्नमेंट
लग
जॉब्स।
जाना, हाँ, रेलवे बोर्ड में
रेलवेज।
टिकट चेकर बन जाना, ये ऑप्शंस थे। और
राइट।
लोग और हमारे सीनियर्स खुश थे,
हम्म।
मतलब उस जमाने के हिसाब से कि आपको एक सरकारी नौकरी मिल गई है, आपको एक सरकारी क्वार्टर मिल जाएगा, आप
राइट।
सेट।
राइट।
तो वो
कुछ।
वही ड्रीम बहुत थी, क्योंकि किसी ने कुछ किया नहीं था।
राइट।
मैं 90s की बात कर रहा हूँ आपसे,
या।
जहाँ लोगों के पास बेसिक्स नहीं थे।
या।
उस अभी भी देश के इलेक्शन तो रोटी कपड़े मकान पे जीते जा रहे हैं। तो आप कम से कम 1990s की बात कर लो, तो इस बात को तो 30-35 साल पुरानी बात है। तो आप
वही।
मेरे जनरेशन के प्लेयर्स हैं, वो इस बात से बिल्कुल कोरिलेट कर पाएंगे, या मेरे जनरेशन के जो लोग हैं,
राइट।
कि बस स्कूल तो हम बसों में ही गए हैं,
या।
साइकिलों पे गए हैं हम स्कूल। हमारे माता पिता स्कूटरों पे छोड़ के आते थे, वो भी 3-3 बच्चे एक स्कूटर पे बैठे हुए, जिसने अच्छा किया वो आगे खड़ा हो जाता था, जिसने नहीं किया वो पीछे बैठ जाता था, बाकी पीछे बैठ जाता था।
सो
तो
नाइस।
वो जमाने के हैं, तो
राइट।
वक्त अलग था।
वही आई मीन सर, मैं भी थोड़ा सा याद करता हूँ वो टाइम, तो वही मुझे लगता है कि मतलब दैट वाज सो डिफिकल्ट। एंड मैं अभी भी आज मतलब ये डिस्कशन करने से पहले वही सोच रहा था, यू हैव बीन इन दिस इंडस्ट्री फॉर ऑलमोस्ट 30 ईयर्स, गिवन द फैक्ट कि इस फील्ड में ज़्यादा कुछ अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ अभी भी नहीं है, मतलब इतनी ज़्यादा बड़ी अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ नहीं है एज वी सी इन वेस्ट, इन यूरोप और इन द यूएस, जो स्पोर्ट्स का एक पूरा इंडस्ट्री, बहुत बड़ी इंडस्ट्री है। तो मैं वही सोच रहा था कि व्हाट इज दिस ड्राइव दैट यू हैव, जो कि वो अभी तक यू आर स्टिल वर्किंग ऑन द ग्रास रूट्स फुटबॉल, और आपको अभी भी वो ड्राइव कर रही है। जस्ट वांटेड टू अंडरस्टैंड। एंड फिर आपने जिस तरह से ये स्टोरी बताई है कि बैक इन दोज डेज हाउ यू वर वर्किंग, तो उससे मेरे को थोड़ा सा आंसर क्लैरिटी भी मिल रही है। बट आई
See,
वुड स्टिल लव टू अंडरस्टैंड मोर कि ऐसा
I
क्या
am
अभी भी ड्राइव
I
कर रहा है।
understand where you're coming from, Siddharth, and I think where what drives me and what has made me stick to the game is purely that there is an opportunity for our nation to do well.
Hmm.
There's an opportunity for our people to be successful in the sport.
Right.
Okay, you have to understand when when the team
Yeah.
became successful, they became role models of this nation.
Right.
They gave us hope. I'm hoping that we can create the same.
Right.
I'm not saying we'll win the World Cup, but I think even if we, as a nation, we qualify or we win the Under 17 World Cup, or even if we are the top four teams in the Under 17 World Cup, there's hope.
Right.
So that hope of doing well and that hope of taking the nation ahead is the driver why I've been sitting in Europe for the last 12 years.
Right.
This is the 13th now. So
Right.
yeah, so the goal behind it is that yes, we as a nation are recognized that yes, we can play the sport.
Right.
People are able to play the sport, and while playing the sport, so that it's not about only creating players.
Hmm.
It's about creating a ecosystem of the sport.
Exactly. Culture.
Because I have been with the national team as the manager of the national team and general manager of Indian Arrows. Imagine me leaving a corporate job. I was at a senior leadership team of a Fortune 500 where I used to make millions and millions of maybe billions of cost saving and revenue generation
Right.
for these companies. I leave a corporate life where my growth, my progression is mapped. I come into Indian football and I see Indian football in complete chaos.
Right.
Now I want to change it, but I alone cannot change it because I'm a young person who's in his mid 30s who wants to
Hmm.
influence the system. So what do? I say, okay, if Indian football needs to do well, let me put structures in place that I learned from the corporate world.
Hmm.
So I implemented structures. If you want the nation to do well, who do you invest in? The youth.
Hmm.
So I subtly, very practically or politically slided in Indian arrows.
Right.
No, it wasn't easy because
Right.
federations are run and managed by people with big influences in each and every region,
Right.
and these people have knowledge about football. These people are the kings of football in their region, in their states. They command respect and they know how to move around in the society. They're politically connected.
Right.
With the corporate level of intelligence that was there, I was able to introduce Indian Arrows, and Indian
Yeah.
Arrows, what it has done for the nation.
Right.
But then again, I hit a point, Siddharth, where I realized that being a part of the system was not allowing me to do the work that I had a vision for, because there are multiple systematic challenges.
Challenges. Yeah. Yeah.
Those challenges are things that you don't want to, they are
Yeah.
the way. अब जैसे अब ट्रैफिक है तो है यार, मतलब that's a
Yeah.
challenge. I'm not
Yeah.
saying challenge in a negative way. I'm
Right.
saying challenge in a way to find a solution.
Yeah.
It's a very different approach, Siddharth. I was always a person, or if you know me and if you know my telephone number also, my last three digits are 911.
Yeah.
I'm a person who finds solution. That's what I do. I don't take no as an answer. I take no as a maybe. And
Hmm.
I would go ahead and investigate. And I'll ask myself three whys. Why is this happening? Then I get an answer, why is that happening?
Right.
Okay, and why is that happening? This is why it's happening. Then I would reason it. And then I would say, is it possible or not? So my approach when I joined the federation was completely not normal. So when I understood the system, I realized that it's time that I do something because you know, let's take an example. Your destination. I don't know what's my end destination.
Yeah.
This is a
Yep.
journey,
It's a journey. Yeah.
milestone. The All India Football Federation, me being the manager of the national team, founder, general manager of Indian Arrows, was a milestone in my life.
Right.
It had a purpose which I achieved then. I handholded the next leader who came in, and I moved on. Then I created something where I said, ki if Indians need to do well, they need to go abroad. And
True.
it was a simple analogy looking at our uncles who went to the United States. They did not get the best jobs first. Some worked on petrol pumps, some worked on airports, some did other stuff.
Right.
I did the same for Indian football, but I created a path. I created a path. I was a pioneer who created an opportunity for Indians to go and play abroad
Right.
after being the manager of the national team. Was
Right.
it comfortable for me to stay at the federation and enjoy the politics and the limelight? If I was not ambitious, I could have done it. I know my colleagues who've done it for 10, 12 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
I could have easily done it because I came from a corporate world.
Right.
But I didn't want to do it. And that's where the madness came in saying that I think the nation deserves something. And it's pure circumstances, Siddharth. Nobody did it. I had a vision. I believed in myself. I've always been a person who, if something is that I believe in, if I look at it, even with young players, for example, if I see something in a player and I believe he has potential, then I pray to God that He gives me the strength to handhold this child and take him forward. And there have been multiple cases which has given us such results.
Right.
Not self, accrediting myself or
Well,
applauding myself. It's just that I'm telling you who I am as a person.
right. I mean, it is
Very,
obviously visible in the results that we see, the players that you have produced or the work that you have done, that is quite visible. And
I mean,
with,
Siddharth, I'll go back to what you're saying in a very tangible way where I remember when we
hmm,
created Indian Arrows.
right,
So the concept was given by me. I introduced it, I implemented it. I ran it all alone. I was the only person in the history of Indian footballer to do this.
so how did you come with
Obviously, I
this
had the
idea?
team around me. I had the
Right,
team around me.
right.
I don't say the credit goes to me.
Yeah.
The credit goes to first, then President Mr. Praful Patel, who supported it.
Okay.
The then General Secretary, there was transition.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Kulaso was there. I
Mm-hmm.
would recognize him first. And then Kushal came in. So it didn't happen during Kushal's time.
Mm-hmm.
The inception of Indian Arrows happened when Mr. Kulaso was there,
Mm-hmm.
who hired me. Mr. Colasso was convinced with the fact that if we need to do a squad for the Asian Games and for
Right,
Olympic qualifiers, that's where we went to Mr. Patel, and Mr. Patel said, "Go do it. You have my blessings." Because that's the kind of a leader you need. I don't think the federation has those kind of leaders today. Wherein your person who's the general manager of your national team walks up to your president or your general secretary and says, "We need to do more." They said, "Okay, come up with a plan." Then I sat down with the team and I
right,
figured out a plan. And then we executed it. It wasn't me alone. I had the support of
right.
my board, my committee, and then we executed it. And another example, when I said I believed in it and this madness took me there, I heard from all, we all talk about यार foreign players आएंगे तो हम जीतेंगे, foreign players नहीं आएंगे तो नहीं जीतेंगे.
Mm,
We had no foreign players in Indian Armies.
right.
Those boys were 19 and 20 years old. Yet we held fort with Mohan Bagan in East Bengal. We did
Mm,
not get relegated. They were making jokes about us. I remember when we were in the I League committee and matches.
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
बस तुमको तो बहुत गोल से मारेंगे. said, ठीक है sir, match में देखते हैं, let the football talk.
Right.
But nothing of that sort happened. Huh? Not that we didn't lose. We did lose, but we learned. And today, Captain Gurpreet कहाँ से आया है?
Right.
Really? सारे बच्चे वहां से आए हैं यार. So again, it goes back to the same analogy. If you believe in something, do it.
Mm.
If it has to happen, it will happen. I mean, मेहनत करोगे, result तो मिलेगा यार.
Right.
That is
Sir,
why this dream of promoting India.
right. तो सर आई थिंक इसमें आपने जो बात स्टोरी अभी इतनी बताई, आई हैव सो मेनी क्वेश्चंस, आई डोंट नो वेयर टू स्टार्ट, बट आपने एक बहुत अच्छा पॉइंट बोला कि एट दैट टाइम व्हेन यू स्टार्टेड इंडियन एरोज, आपके पास एक अच्छी लीडरशिप थी जिन्होंने बोला कि हाँ, आप प्लान लाइए, हम एग्जीक्यूट करेंगे, और आज के टाइम में आई थिंक इट्स मिसिंग. सो who are the key stakeholders, or who are the people that we should maybe reach out to who can really change this system, because it really needs a change. I see a lot of players struggling, like they don't even know how to, make a career. So it has to be done at the grassroots, which means a parent has to understand. Okay, this is the plan for a kid, right? If we want to make him a football player, then there has to be this plan, and it will be sustainable. तो वो अभी कुछ plan ऐसा कुछ laid out ही नहीं. It's all chaos, like you said. तो where is it where I mean that we should start, like as an entire nation?
I think, Siddharth, first we need to do is we need to build a culture of football back home. We need people to play the game and consume the game. It's not necessary that everybody will be successful.
Exactly.
And it is 100% that everybody will not be successful. Look at me.
Right.
Was I a star in Indian football? No, I wasn't. I was an aspirational footballer. Did I make it to the highest level? No, I got injured. I got dished out before I even got there. Did I have the material? I don't know, because nobody harnessed it. Did anybody groom me to become a striker, groom me to become a winger? It was circumstantial. It was by accident. If you look back, the greatest players this country has seen who served the nation as their sons on the pitch, none of them got trained except the boys who came out of Tata Football Academy.
Yeah.
वो बाकी सब तो कैसे बने? You see Sunil Chhetri?
Yeah.
He played day in, day out. He used to play with his parents. He used to juggle the ball behind his courtyard. He
Right.
came from, his father was an army professional. He served the nation. He had access to places where he moved with his father in cantonment areas, other places.
Right.
He studied in Delhi. He played. It was purely by accident that Sunil Chhetri is Sunil Chhetri. The world today recognizes him. He is a wonderful person, a great hero. He's coming back in his 40s to serve the nation. It takes courage, it takes mental strength to do that.
Right.
But these players were created by accident. I am Vijayan. There is a legacy story of him which says he used to juggle coconuts.
Right.
Can you imagine juggle coconuts? They used to say stories about him that he used to sell stuff on a stadium so that he could basically earn some money. There are many stories like this about many players.
Right.
But the only players who were formally educated were the players who came out of Tata Football Academy.
Right.
But I have a fundamental problem with that. Football Academy made wonderful players, but they never educated their players to become the brand
Exactly.
ambassadors of Indian football.
Exactly.
For them, it was only important that he becomes a player who serves the nation. They have a highest convocation level who serve the nation. But did they create stars who could become today's brand ambassadors of Indian football? Did they educate them? On paper, yes, they educated them. They send them to open schools. But in actual life, if you look at these players, they aren't educated, they aren't graduates.
Right.
So, would they even be in a seat today to be in a position to become General Secretary of the All India Football Federation, to become President of All India Football Federation, if he's not a politician? No, because all that we as a nation thought is only to make players.
Mm.
And that is where I thought differently. I said, if my country needs to do well, then my people need to do well. Where do I my people need to do well? On the pitch, off the pitch. So the goal is to educate our people. Like you say, there is no roadmap. There is a roadmap, Siddharth. Do you think it is by accident there is a kid who is one of the leading sports management companies of Europe, is a CEO today, who does more than 10 million euros of business? Is it by accident he's an Indian kid? Is it by accident that there is a kid who's become a financial advisor in Switzerland with one of the leading investment management company, who played football and was a part of this program? Do you think it's by accident somebody is sitting in FC Bayern with a job who's been a part of this program? No. The goal was to create opportunity and give these children a chance.
Right.
The ones who came got the opportunity. Now you will say, अरे sir, हमको तो चांस मिला नहीं. अरे भाई, जो इंडियन एरोज में खेला उसको तो चांस मिला. वही तो मैं आज यहाँ बच्चों के साथ कर रहा हूँ इंडियन एरोज के बाद.
Right.
एक नेक्स्ट लेवल ही तो बना रहा हूँ, क्योंकि आई ऑल्सो हैव एन एक्सपिरेशन.
Yeah, of
मेरे
course.
बाद इस बच्चों को कौन ले जाएगा? यही बच्चे ले जाएंगे.
Exactly.
So the goal was also to groom people for the next. Today I have CEOs, I have trainers, I have fan base people in clubs in different places. They've all been a part of the program. Can I help everybody? No. Can I help some who can help the nation? Yes. And if that some only join hands, it's enough, no?
Right.
Do you think
Absolutely.
the whole country got behind Mahatma Gandhi to liberate the country? But they enjoyed the benefits, no? Some did, no? Some did.
Absolutely.
So I'm not saying I'm the Gandhi of the sport, I am the Mahatma of the sport, but I'm saying I'm on my journey. And my journey is a very simple and a pure journey with a simple dream that our people can do well. It's just that we need to enable them.
Right.
How to enable them is we've learned over a decade.
Yeah.
And now we want to inculcate, we've done it. We have a track record. We are doing it in the right way with the right value system, integrity, and honesty. Results will show.
That's true. So, sir, now let's, since you have already told about your movement in Europe, produce such great players and good people, I think that's more important. I mean, we can't assure always to people that we will create great players, but at least we will create great human beings, so which you are doing, which is fantastic. So, my point, first point, when you move to Europe, when you saw the footballing culture there and when you saw the chaos here, what was the difference and how did you manage that? What were some of the insights that you got initially after movement in the Europe?
So, Siddharth, when I first moved to Europe, the movement was not like I quit my job and packed my bags and says, "Ab Europe jana hai."
Hmm.
It was a very careful and a very
Planned.
thought decision.
Hmm.
There were criterias whether I will work with a certain club or not, and I
Hmm.
have 19 criterias.
Got it.
Those 19 criterias were to be met. Then I traveled to Europe. I traveled for 1 year.
Okay.
I told the All India Football Federation, I'm done. I am going to leave this job because now we are shifting Indian Arrows to Pailan
Hmm.
Group, which was
Hmm.
in Calcutta.
Hmm.
They wanted me to go to Calcutta. I refused. So I had to quit. So the other option was ki either you go to Calcutta, Pailan Group, or you quit.
Hmm.
I said, I will quit. So because it was not feasible, because I didn't want to
Hmm.
relocate. I had my
Right.
reason.
Right.
On a lighter note, we will talk about it some other day, but
Of course.
it's.
Yeah.
But then I said, okay, I need to take a bold step. I traveled. I went to each and every country in Europe. I knocked the club's doors and I said, okay, I'll work with you. I'll work. Then I had created a shortlist. Then I lived there for another three months in the 4 cities that I shortlisted to
Hmm.
see if the boys are well, boys are safe, if there is growth for the boys, or is this a racist place? See, sitting in India,
Yeah.
99% of the Indians have no clue.
Yeah.
They are calling big clubs, I don't want to name big clubs, and saying, sir, मेरे साथ तो वो काम कर रहा है, मेरे को तो वो मदद करेगा. The truth of the matter is they have no idea what
Yeah,
are the challenges to live in Europe as a foreigner,
yeah.
as what is the mentality of the club. You have to see the history behind how the club has grown players, how they retain players, what is the value system. You have to understand who's the sporting director, who is the president, what is his background, why is he in the sport, is he there for only winning trophies, is he there only for grooming the next level or enabling people. There is a lot of thought put into that. And that's when I selected, after doing my 18 months in Europe
Hmm.
at, at my cost,
Right.
then I chose FC Metz. A lot of
Cool.
people say I had to choose between two clubs, and I was very close to choosing Auxerre.
Hmm.
It's a gentleman known as Gehu, who is the father of French football.
Oh,
Eric Cantona came from there, Pogba came from there.
oh.
One of the French national team captains, Maxwell, the blonde guy with long
Right.
hair, he came from there. So there are a lot of amazing players, and he, as a person, he played at Auxerre. He was a part of the club, and he's still with Auxerre, and he's almost about 80 plus years old.
Wow.
So there was key stability.
Yeah.
It's not that आज मैं यहाँ हूँ, कल मैं वहाँ हूँ. Even the guy
Loyalty
I
was there.
work with
Yeah.
today, he's given 30 plus years to the club.
Right.
He is a decision maker in the club. A lot of kids are now from India sending players abroad. They are saying मैं स्पेन भेज दूंगा, मैं यहाँ भेज दूंगा, मैं पोर्चुगल भेज दूंगा. They have no idea where they are sending the child. They claim they know it, but how many of them have even stayed 1 year back to back with the guy and spent time with him? They will not do it. You know why, Siddharth? Because sitting in India and earning in euros is easy.
Yeah.
When you go abroad, you got to wash your own socks and underwear, my friend, and
Exactly.
you got to cook your 3 meals.
Yeah.
You got to go out when the sun is shining, and when you come back, it's raining.
Right.
So that life, that culture is very different.
Yeah.
Plus, मेहनत क्यों करें जब नेटवर्क मिल गया, एक क्लब का नाम मिल गया, people are sending children.
Right.
They want
And
to be with their families.
right.
Life is
And
easy.
सर आई थिंक इसमें एक और इंटरेस्टिंग पॉइंट ये भी है कि पेरेंट्स को या फिर लोगों को नहीं पता है राइट कि क्या हो रहा है वहां पे। मतलब उनके साथ एक नाम जुड़ गया कि टॉटनहम में भेज रहे हैं या फिर स्पेन के किसी क्लब में भेज रहे हैं। तो दे आर वेरी एक्साइटेड, पेरेंट्स आर वेरी एक्साइटेड कि हमारा बच्चा खेलने को मतलब किसी तरह से एसोसिएटेड है। दे डोंट नो
I
द रियलिटी।
I I will jump into this
या
question, and I will tell you something, Siddharth. If India had a culture of football, Siddharth,
राइट राइट
parents go, I'm sorry to be very honest, but at the same time, I'm not sorry. That's why I'm saying it. I'm sorry for saying it. It will sound rude, but most of the parents have no knowledge
ट्रू,
of the sport.
एब्सोल्युटली
They are
ट्रू, आई एग्री।
successful people in their own fields,
राइट,
so they think with money they can buy things.
एग्जैक्टली।
I've had a parent, and a wonderful guy. I still like him. He likes me. He had twin sons.
हम्म।
Wonderful. I
हम्म।
really wanted them to be a part of my academy, and I would have done anything and everything under the
राइट।
sky for having them, which I tried also. He ended up sending them to Barcelona. After 2 years, he calls me and he says, Eric, I made the biggest mistake of my life. You were right. कहता है, यार वहाँ चांस नहीं मिला, मैं ना नाम में चला गया यार, वहाँ डेवलपमेंट नहीं हुई. अब मैं इतना दुख हुआ मुझे, क्योंकि बच्चे की ना
राइट।
that age and that time na, if it's gone, yeah.
इट्स गॉन या।
And a lot of these parents, and I ask these parents, Siddharth, a big part of my qualifiers, come look what we do. I have big clubs sitting in India who want to partner with me, but you know what, they don't have the time to come over and see me. So the
राइट।
first step I cannot take na.
राइट।
I want to date you, Siddharth, but I will not come out of my house. So, yeah, thank you very much. So,
Right.
how do you want me to even get into a relationship with such a person? If a parent wants to send a child to a place where has to get developed, अरे यार 2 दिन नहीं निकाल करके आ सकते क्या? Come and
Right.
see the place, yeah. You're
Right.
sending your child to different parts of the world. So you're sending your child to different parts of the world, but you can't even make an effort to go and see and talk and ask the right questions and
Exactly.
then decision. You know where these parents are coming from? I'll tell you. I kind of understand कि चांस हाथ से छूट जाएगा.
Hmm.
यू नो ये चांस निकल गया ना तो मेरा बच्चा रह जाएगा. भेज दो भेज दो.
Right.
ये वहां मिल रहा है चांस, इतना बड़ा क्लब है, कुछ तो सीख के आएगा ही.
Hmm.
और कुछ ना कुछ नहीं हुआ तो इंडिया में खेल लेगा.
Hmm.
So the whole approach is not informed and is based on a calculation of worst case scenario. How do you expect success then? मैं BMW के साथ गाड़ी बनाऊंगा, BMW की टक्कर की, ठीक है ना. अब चल गई तो ठीक है, नहीं चली तो इंडिया में चला दूंगा. इंडियन मार्केट कोई कचरा है क्या?
Right.
कैसे चल जाएगा? You have to be very clear. You have to be very
Exactly.
honest towards the effort. I think
Right.
if parents, one of my biggest message through your medium is if parents want to send their children,
Right.
first do a background check on the person who's taking it. क्या उसने जिंदगी में फुटबॉल खेली है?
Right.
क्या उस आदमी ने कुछ अचीव किया है?
Right.
मतलब मेरे को खुद को गाड़ी चलानी नहीं आती और मैं आपके बेटे को Formula 1 रेसर बना दूंगा. कैसे यार? मतलब या तो हाई लेवल की चीज चल रही है मतलब
Hmm.
देश.
Right.
और ये पैसे वाले पेरेंट्स हैं who are making these mistakes,
Yeah.
who are people who are well versed with the world. How on the earth, tell me, Siddharth, it is achievable? And why are they going to people who have no credibility in the sport just because they are smooth talkers? So basically, these parents are saying, do lip service and take the money from me and my child. And the most important thing in today's world for any parent is his child and his money. And they're making the biggest mistakes with both the most important thing of their what they're working hard for.
Yeah, I think they are ruining the future.
And I think if we educate these people, if we send out a positive message and we tell them, look, you want to send your child out, do this top 5 things. One, do a verification on the person. If he's played the sport, does he understand the sport? Is he
Right.
from the sport?
Right.
Second, see the place where you're going, visit it yourself. See if there is a school attached because it's about your child's future.
Right.
Or see if there is a local school attached who can suffice your needs. Some parents will say, no, NIOC, NIO कर देंगे, NIOS कर देंगे, ये कर देंगे. Okay, but your child has to integrate culturally. Please be more sensible towards it. Then you can say, see where your child will be after the program. Is there a roadmap towards it? So if you structure those thought process and we enable parents to think about their child and their future in the sport and outside the sport, then these parents will understand, okay, why don't I follow this checklist? And I want to do this, I'll tell you why, because the people who are taking these children abroad, I want them to up their game.
Yeah.
I'm not saying Eric के पास. एरिक सिर्फ देखो, एरिक की कैपेसिटी 150 बच्चों की है या 200 बच्चों की है. एंड
Hmm.
एरिक 150-200 हिंदुस्तानी बच्चे नहीं डालेगा बिकॉज एरिक हैज मैच्योरिटी. वो क्वालिटी मेंटेन करना है, कंपटीशन मेंटेन
Right.
करना है, ग्रोथ होनी है हर बच्चे की. So I'll cap my India market to a certain size. That is why I'm a part of the academy. And I'm not a supplier or an agent. बहुत ज़्यादा फर्क है.
Right.
But these boys who are helping Eric's dream, you know what is the biggest compliment to a master? When his student or when somebody he doesn't know is copying his art. It's the biggest compliment to me. I created this industry. So if young children are following it, God bless them. But I will set up rules कि बच्चे इस गार्डियंस के अंदर करेगा तो बच्चे की जिंदगी बन जाएगी. अब मर्सिडीज ने गाड़ी बनाई, पहली गाड़ी मर्सिडीज ही ने बनाई ना. अब वो
Right.
ये तो नहीं कहता तुम माँ बनाओ, बट वो कहता मेरे से अच्छी बना के दिखाओ. तो मैं भी वही कह रहा हूँ. मेरे से अच्छा काम करके दिखाओ, मैं भी गेम में रेलेवेंट रहूं, और बच्चे का भला होगा ना भाई। एंड ऑफ द डे, पैसे तुम बनाना चाहते हो बनाओ, बट बच्चे का फायदा करके दो ना, बनाओ। है तुम्हारे में दम तो बनाओ इंडियन एरोज जैसा कॉन्सेप्ट। है तुम्हारे में दम तो दो इंडियन फुटबॉल को गुरप्रीत सिंह संधू। है तुम्हारे में दम तो दो अनिरुद्ध थापा। है तुम्हारे में दम तो लेके आओ सुनील छेत्री को एज अ ब्रांड एम्बेसडर ऑन बोर्ड। है तुम्हारे दम तो लेके आओ ऑल इंडिया फुटबॉल फेडरेशन को ऑन बोर्ड। है तुम्हारे में दम तो लेके आओ ना अंडर 17 वर्ल्ड कप टीम को अपने सेंटर ऑफ एक्सीलेंस में ग्रूम करो। किया है ना मैंने, किया है ना, सब कुछ किया है। और मैं आज भी बच्चों के साथ सिलेक्टिवली काम करता हूँ, ताकि आई कैन ग्रूम टुमारोज फ्यूचर फॉर इंडियन फुटबॉल एंड नॉट नेसेसरी टू बी
राइट।
प्लेयर्स। क्योंकि प्लेयर की लाइफ सिर्फ 14-15 साल होती है सदा।
ट्रू।
बहुत लकी हो गए तो सुनील जैसे एक दो निकल जाते हैं, ठीक है ना। बट एज एन एडमिनिस्ट्रेटर, एज अ पार्ट ऑफ द स्क्वाड, सपोर्ट स्टाफ, लाइफ लॉन्ग गेम खेल सकता है वो। मैं लाइफ लॉन्ग गेम खेलने की बात कर रहा हूँ, मैं कह रहा हूँ खेलो और उसके बाद एडमिन बनो स्पोर्ट में, उस स्पोर्ट को आगे ले जाओ क्योंकि तुमने खेला है।
एजुकेट करो लोगों को।
हाँ, तुम अच्छे कोच बन सकते हो। अब तुम मुझे इन ऑल ऑनेस्टी बोलो, जिस लड़के ने फुटबॉल को लात नहीं मारी है अपने बचपन में, क्या वो अच्छा कोच बन सकता है?
आई डोंट थिंक सो, आई मीन वेरी रेयर केस, एक्सेप्शन प्रॉब्ली।
ये हो सकता है, ये अजूबा है, बट ये स्टैंडर्ड प्रोसेस नहीं है।
नहीं है। राइट।
अगर इसको हम स्टैंडर्ड प्रोसेस बना लें,
राइट।
आप देख लो, और वही लोग आज की डेट में कोचिंग कर रहे हैं जो खुद स्पोर्ट में अचीव नहीं कर पाए कुछ। देयर इज अ फंडामेंटल प्रॉब्लम, दैट इज व्हाई आई एम सेइंग इफ वी नीड टू इम्प्रूव इट, कल्चर बनाना पड़ेगा खेलने का।
हम्म। गॉट इट।
जिस आदमी ने बजरी के ग्राउंड पे फुटबॉल नहीं खेली है सिद्धार्थ, उसको नहीं पता कि 1 महीने बाद स्टड घिस जाता है बजरी के ग्राउंड पे भागने से। जिस आदमी ने कलकत्ता में फुटबॉल नहीं खेली है, उसे नहीं पता बारिश में बॉल को कैसे ग्राउंड से ऊपर रख के खेला जाता है। जिस आदमी में पहाड़ों में फुटबॉल नहीं खेली है, उसे ये नहीं पता पहाड़ों में स्लाइडिंग टैकल नहीं मारते क्योंकि पूरा घुटना और साइड का स्किन छिल जाता है। वो क्या कोचिंग कराएगा? जिसको ये नहीं पता है कि एक इंजरी की वजह से ग्रोइन इंजरी आती है क्योंकि वो खेला ही नहीं है, वो प्लेयर को कैसे इंस्पायर और मोटिवेट करेगा?
एग्जैक्टली।
इसलिए एज अ नेशन वी हैव टू बिल्ड अ कल्चर, and as parents who are listening to this podcast, or important people or stakeholders of Indian football, let us take informed decisions. Let us send our children to the right place. And it is not necessary that all children will become football players.
राइट।
Children can also have a life in football, Baba. I have been advocating about this, that to introduce ex-Indian players into ISM, use them as commentators, क्योंकि जो फॉरेन कमेंटेटर आते हैं उनकी बात ही नहीं समझ में आती हम लोग। अब वो
राइट।
करने लगे हैं कुछ सालों से। उससे क्या होता है ना कि आज जैसे अब रेनेडी सिंह को हम देखते हैं, वो आई हैव लॉट ऑफ
हम्म।
लव एंड एप्रिसिएशन, वंडरफुल ह्यूमन बीइंग, अ
हम्म।
वंडरफुल servant of the sport who served this nation to the highest level. Bai is there, IM is there, Raman, who's a very dear friend, he's there. A lot of these former players are there. You know, it gives hope to a parent. यार देखो ये वहां पहुंचे, मेरा बच्चा भी पहुंच सकता है। बिकॉज इट इज अबाउट गिविंग होप ना।
या।
अब आप ये देखो, एक भी ऐसा इंडियन नहीं है जो विदेश में काम कर रहा है इंडियन फुट जिसने इंडियन फुटबॉल को रिप्रेजेंट किया है।
राइट।
करेक्ट।
या।
एक इंडियन है जो टॉप लेवल ऑफ फुटबॉल में काम कर रहा है, बताओ आप।
आई थिंक सो, मे बी
यू
सोशल मीडिया
you
मैनेजर।
don't think you don't think I am working in top level Indian foot as an Indian in
I mean,
European football?
you, of course, you are working in the
So there is this
grassroots.
post Indian, no? There
Right.
is this.
Right.
I am that Indian. Huh?
Right.
If you think I am associated with the football club known as FC Mets,
Yeah.
and FC Mets has created players like Sadio Mane,
Right.
या Olympianage, रॉबर्ट पेरेस, तो एक हिंदुस्तानी तो है ना जो यहाँ पहुंच गया है।
Right.
और ये हिंदुस्तानी बाकी हिंदुस्तानियों को बोल रहा है कि तुम भी तो आ सकते हो।
Hmm.
रास्ता मैं दिखाता हूँ, तुम्हें आओ। और इसी हिंदुस्तानी ने कई हिंदुस्तानियों को अच्छी जगह पहुंचाया। डू यू नो एनी इंडियन हु इज वर्किंग इन एफसी बायन?
No, I don't
I will
think.
give you a name of my boy who was a part
Hmm.
of my program, who's working for FC Bayan as a full-time employee. His name is Shalyan Reddy.
Wow. I think that's a big achievement, getting a
That
job
is
in
a
FC
super big
by.
achievement.
Yeah,
फेडरेशन को
yeah.
भी नहीं पता ये हो रहा है, क्योंकि मैं बोलता नहीं हूँ उसका ये मतलब किया नहीं है, नहीं। आज की डेट में क्या है कि मार्केट को बोलना पड़ता है कि
बोलना
भैया
पड़ता है.
शहरों में हमने काम किया है, हाँ जी इन बच्चों के साथ हमने काम किया है, हाँ जी
Right,
ये किया। जमाना ये है तो ठीक है, जमाने के साथ वक्त के साथ बदल रहे हैं।
right.
You know Vedant? Vedant is running one of the biggest sports management agency in Europe.
Wow.
उस एजेंसी के थ्रू players are getting contracts. Bayern Munich, Red Bull Salzburg. He's the CEO of that company. So have we created those players? Yes. Have we created those people in the sport? Yes. And am I going to do it? Yes, I'm going to do it. You tell me any one of these people who are sending children abroad have done this.
I don't see any other stories. So that's why, sir, I mean, I'm talking to you because your work, I have seen a lot of people, promoting Europe in the send your kids to Europe, send to this club. But I never reached out to them because I never saw that genuineness, right? So when
Our partnership with IKF is beautiful that way, Siddharth.
right, right,
I told IKF, I said, IKF, if we want to work together, let's
yeah,
work for the reason.
right,
So Eric Benny has created his name by the grace of God, has created Roti Kapda Makan sustenance hai.
right,
वो होनी चाहिए. But because I see these people so passionate, funny and Hitesh,
right.
ऐसे के काम करते हैं for the right cause.
Everyone, I think. I
Let's
mean,
put the right message out.
yeah. तो सर आप अब आपने आईकेएफ के बारे में बोला ही है, मेरे को एक क्वेश्चन तो था आप यूरोपियन उससे से रिलेटेड की, बट आई थिंक आईकेएफ पे अपन 2 मिनट बात करते हैं. तो आईकेएफ के बारे में सर आपको क्या लगता है, लाइक इट स्टार्टेड नाउ, इट्स फिफ्थ सीजन ऑलरेडी रनिंग, एंड आप उस समय इंडिया भी आए, यू वर आई थिंक स्काउटिंग एज वेल, यू वर आल्सो टॉकिंग विद सम इंडियन क्लब्स एज वेल. तो आपका वो
सिद्धार्थ
जो
एक 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 30 सेकेंड्स का ब्रेक ले लें.
श्योर
I
श्योर,
need,
या या
please.
या
Thank you.
या तो सर आईकेएफ पे आते हैं. आईकेएफ में आप यहाँ पे इंडिया आए थे, तो आपका कैसा एक्सपीरियंस रहा, एंड व्हाट डू यू थिंक अबाउट इंडिया खेलो फुटबॉल? आई हैव बीन टॉकिंग टू ऑल द टीम मेंबर्स, आई हैव एक्सपीरियंस द फाइनल. आई थिंक इट वाज ग्रेट, आई थिंक द क्वालिटी ऑफ गेम इज आल्सो गुड. बट सिंस यू हैव बीन देयर फॉर सो लॉन्ग, फॉर 3 decades in this system, you know football far better than anyone else. So what are your insights on India Khelo football?
So I think firstly it gives me a lot of joy and happiness to see what IKF is doing for the children who are dreaming to be a part of the sport. So that is something that they've hit it spot on. And I have immense respect because I understand scouting, because I
Yeah,
scouted
yeah,
myself before Corona. I was very active on ground. It is not easy. And what these guys, Funny and Nitesh, are able to do, I mean, God bless them for this. It is wonderful. And today's parents should be grateful that they have access to this because it's
right,
not easy what they're doing. Secondly, what I'm also very happy is that they are able to cater to all social backgrounds of the society, and
right,
they bring everybody under one IKF umbrella and help. They
right.
are able to create an impact in the society. They create able to create a hopeful impact that yes, there's future in Indian football and your child can be successful. So that
Right,
is one.
right,
I am only hoping how we can, I'm probably dreaming how we can all work together and create a bigger impact and a better impact each and
mm,
every season.
right.
Is it possible? Answer is yes. What do we need to do? I think that we need to sit down together and we need to understand and
True.
then group it all together because we need, like, for example, you're critical in that process. IKF and its regional partners are important in that process. We are the least important, but we'll be able to add something, But
Yeah,
all of us, when we come together, I'm sure we can create an awakening. I'm sure we can take those baby steps towards the right direction rather than just only talk about it.
I think, sir, we are few stories away. I'm sure in next 5, 10 years, if we create some of the stories, like one of the stories, of course, Sunil Chetri's, but we really need to create more such stories, more such inspiration to the for the people, so that there is a culture, there is a inspiration for the future generation. So I think we are probably a few years away. And I'm sure with your expertise and with your guidance and IKF and all the other stakeholders, major stakeholders who are working in this system can bring the real change. Sir,
I
let's,
am positive, Siddharth. I am positive with people like you, with IKF, with the right place, in the right place, at the right time, with the right, they have their heart at the right place.
yeah,
Their
true.
feeling about the sport, their feeling about to give back through this beautiful sport is spot on. So I only pray that we come together with a
Yeah,
for a proper cause and we can build it up.
right.
Because then I have something, brewing in my heart and mind.
Hmm.
But when the right time comes, because it's
It's all
always
about
about the
timing.
right place and right, yeah, exactly. It's always about the right timing. So,
Right,
and that we have to do it right because it has a bigger picture and has a very big impact towards the nation and the future.
right,
When all of us individuals come together, then it's only going to be amazing, man. And I have hope. I have a
right.
lot of
Yeah, yeah. Moving on, sir. A few questions from the kids in India. They were asking, uh, like, how to get uh, uh, selected for this. Maybe at your management, you said you take only 150 students. So, what are the criterias and what are
What
the
is very
basics?
important, Siddharth, is that we are able to meet the parent and the child.
Right,
You have to understand because it is as a person who recruits people into a center of excellence in France and Germany. I work very strongly with parents and their
right,
children
right.
because if we three are on the same spot and we
Hmm.
have the same inclination and the same goals, then it's easier to deliver and groom.
Right.
So one of the first criteria is I interview, I meet people, I need a statement of purpose from the child.
Hmm.
Then what is important is I invite them to my center of excellence.
Right.
Like I said, I don't do trials in India. I shortlist through my references and my people who I know.
Hmm.
Because in India, the level that they are playing at is so basic that even
True.
somebody who can shoot a ball gets highlighted. So if somebody is serious, I don't want to break any child's heart. What I do for the parent as a favor is I bring the child over to my center of excellence. I give him a month's training because anything less than that is like a honeymoon. And
True.
we don't get to know that whether the child is cut off for it or not. We need to spend time on the pitch and off the pitch to know the child. I invite them for a month during their summer holidays or their breaks, holiday breaks. So, no interruption in education. I bring the parent over. I sit down with them. We see. Now, Siddharth, even if you haven't played the greatest level of sport, but if you have you played cricket, Siddharth?
Yeah, yeah, of course. I've played a lot of cricket.
Have you played for the Indian team?
No.
But can you see a player who's not fitting in the Indian team when he plays cricket and you say यार इसके बस की नहीं है ये नहीं चल
Hmm.
पाएगा.
I get the point. Yeah.
So even if you haven't played the sport, you can make a judgment when you see 10 good players
True.
around. So parent is invited. We
Right.
sit them down. We say, अब बताओ,
Right.
the child has amazing potential. Can we work together? Or your child is needs more work? Take him back to India. I'll give him another chance next year. Because Siddhant, you never know which player can develop when. So you never write off players. You never deprive anybody of hope. Maybe that boy at that point in time is having a muscular imbalance or he's
Right.
growing. He's having teenage issues. 6 months, 1 year down the line, a lot of people write people off. I never write people off. I always leave them on a positive note and a hopeful note. so that
Right.
they can, if they cannot become a part of the sport by playing it and earning money, when I say being playing professional, they can at least become a professional in the sport. Nobody is stopping them to do that. No? I will help them. Let them try 2, 3 years their best. I will support them. And if they don't, I will support them to become a professional in the sport. So there are multiple approaches, but I am very selective with people who I work because I create impact in each and every child's life. And that child has to be worth it.
Right.
A lot of parents can write me checks. I don't work with them. I work with parents who are dreamers like me.
Who have long vision.
Yeah, but they also put in effort, doesn't it?
Right. Yeah.
हाँ
I
जी
mean, if
मेरा
you
बेटा
have
ले
long
जाओ.
vision,
A
then
lot of
only you can.
parents say this.
Right.
मेरा बच्चा ले जाओ जी, आप ही का है. आप
Mm,
आप ही, ये मेरा नहीं है यार.
right.
भाई ये हमारा
Ah.
है.
Mm,
वो फर्क है.
right.
आप उसके बायोलॉजिकल पेरेंट है, मैं उसका फुटबॉल पेरेंट हूँ या मैं उसका गुरु हूँ.
Right.
मेरे अस्तित्व है, बट
Yeah.
आप जैसा नहीं है. मैं एक रोल प्ले करूंगा, बट आप एफर्ट डालेंगे तो मैं आपको मिरर करूंगा. दैट पीपल आर नॉट एबल टू प्रोसेस. द सीरियस वंस लव मी. The ones who I reject, they think I'm arrogant. But I do them a favor by telling them, don't waste your time. So they go to different locations.
Mm,
And then they say, sir, हमने कर लिया, but result तो कुछ नहीं निकला. गलती हो गई सर, आपके साथ ही रहना था. कोई बात नहीं, God bless. कुछ और कर लेना.
mm,
There are multiple ways ना. जिंदगी तो बड़ी प्यारी है. कई डिफरेंट रंगों में आती है, रूपों में आती है.
right.
सक्सेस तो कोई नहीं कि एक ही चीज में होगा.
Right. I think, सर, एक आप फंडामेंटल चीज बता सकते, लाइक फॉर अवेयरनेस हियर इन इंडिया, कि what are the basics that a player has to have, जो कि मतलब यूरोपियन स्टैंडर्ड के हिसाब से बेटर हो, लाइक मे बी वी कैन डेवलप इट अराउंड 10 to 14 years of kids. So what are those basic skills that I mean that coaches, that
I'll break it down in
clubs.
a very simple way because I work with a lot of youth players.
Yeah.
From 6 to 9, we are looking at children to be very comfortable with the ball.
Mm. Okay.
That's called technique.
Correct.
9 to 12, vision and awareness with technique.
Mm.
It's not that I have learned technique. No, technique is not important. Technique I have learned. Now I'm educated from a next level. Vision and awareness with technique.
Right.
Next, ability to the ability where I've learned technique, vision, and awareness, able to execute it at a faster level every time. 12 to 15.
Correct.
15 till 17, 18, physicality in the game and more
Okay.
game time. If these children understand that, if the ball is their friend, and if they're able to find solutions,
Right.
then why will not they be football players? And in India, if you cannot do it, where the intensity of the sport is not so high, then how will you do it in Europe,
Right.
which is the best of the best? That is what I see, and then I build it over time. And there is not, in Indian football, I was talking to this former legend. I call him Anna, I won't name his
Mm.
name. And he says, Eric, I played for the country, but you think my 70% of me was even harnessed, or my potential up to
Mm.
70% was used? If there was someone, they could have used me more.
Right.
So the goal is when these kids come to us, we look for every aspect in them,
Yeah.
and so that we can help them. And trust me, Siddharth, are we doing a fantastic job? I think we are doing a good job compared to what the surrounding is.
Mm.
Is it the best? The best can never be the best because there's nothing known as perfection.
True.
Can we do better? Answer is yes. Do we aim to do better? Yes. Do we get better at it? With time, we always push, push, push. Do we make mistakes? Yes, we are human beings, we make mistakes. But the intent is to grow, develop, and help.
Right.
And at least we don't waste people's time. If the child is ready to play football, we tell him you're ready to play. If not, then we give him an alternative in the sport.
Correct.
That way, we are being fair to a human life. We
Yeah.
are being fair to a trust a parent has in us. And just imagine if I start lying to my children who I work with, will they ever respect the person who's called a guru? उनको तो लगेगा सारे गुरु बनाने के लिए बैठे. Why my children are successful today, why I can reach out to anyone in any part of the world and say, son, I'm here, come, let's meet. They meet me happily. हाँ, कईयों के दिल में रहता है कि सर मैं काश मैं मेरी मेरी को आप थोड़ा और हेल्प कर देते, काश मेरे लिए आप ये और कर देते. बट कोई ये नहीं कहता आपने किया नहीं.
Hmm.
उन्हें भी पता है कि वो नहीं कर पाए क्योंकि ताली एक हाथ से नहीं बजती.
Right.
They have alternatives. That is what we need to create. This is a very pure. When I started this industry, so that was very pure. Ki my people do well. Right now, we have people who want to do well,
Hmm.
but not the people who are going that well. Somebody else is doing well. वो मतलब को conveniently अपने लिए ले गए.
Right.
I, I think people who are a part of the sport on the pitch and at support staff, we need to support our brothers and we need to bring them here and our sisters. We need to bring them here. We need to educate them. It's going to
Educate.
take years.
Yeah.
Easy. We will create that change
Yeah. Of course.
through your medium, through IKF, to other partners. We will spread the word out, and the good players will be in the market. I'm not saying I'm the best. I'm the good guy.
Right.
But there are others. They will also have to be good if they want business out of India, and that is my goal.
That's true. I think that's a great answer. My medium is very small. I'm just putting this content for the awareness purpose. I just hope that maybe down the line, 2 years, 3 years down the line, these ideas, these insights help someone. Like not just, I mean, maybe some kid watching this and hearing this out and getting inspired, and maybe, or maybe some coach or manager getting inspired by these insights. So I think the medium is very small, and thank you for your time. I think it's really great. Maybe one last question, and we end this discussion. What is your like? I know what you're seeing at the end of the tunnel, but what is your next 5 years roadmap? Roadmap. What do you see for the next 5 years? Is like, if you cover that,
That's
then it's
that's
it's.
a that's a executive board question that you're asking me, and I need to justify it to still be the CEO of my company. So the answer to the board will be I intend to groom a lot of good players.
Right.
I intend to groom coaches. I intend to groom backroom staff.
Hmm.
I just don't want to focus on players because developing players is an art that we have.
Hmm.
It's a mix of the right attributes. I also need to create Indians who can work abroad.
Hmm. Correct.
That's what is the dream. Right now, none of them are dreaming about it. But like I said, I'm the pioneer. वो कहते हैं ना गुरु तो गुरु ही होता है ना.
And thank you very much for sharing these insights, sir. Really, it was a pleasure. And I mean, I didn't ask so many questions. I have yet so many questions to ask, but maybe we will meet and we'll discuss this further. And I wish you the best. And I think uh, people should really look more. I'm not sure why your story is not so much highlighted. So,
Because I
our
don't talk about it, Siddharth.
talk about it. Yeah. So at least I'll try from my medium will push this story as well, so that people are more aware, because awareness is critical. Sports awareness is very critical, and they take right decisions. So sir, thank you very much for your time, and all the best
Thank you.
to you and to your team, and may you develop best quality players from India, for India, and we see a great future for the nation.
Thank you. Thank you, Siddharth. Thank you for the wonderful opportunity and God bless you.
Thank
All
you,
the
sir.
best.